Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys? Happy Wellness Wednesday. Super excited to see you guys here today. Mo up to the stage. Let's see. Hey Mo, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Going good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Fantastic. Here we are, here we are, here we are. What's going on in your world? How was your week?
It's been crazy.
Oh, okay. What's been going on?
It's just like everything has been back to back to back to back. Like I'm on such a tight schedule that it's been a lot. So
Yeah?
yeah, I'm ready to go. I probably won't go to sleep before I get on this plane tomorrow, but
Where are you headed tomorrow?
DC.
Okay, going to see the family.
Yeah, somewhat. For sure.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So just like been working up until the moment I leave. So
That sounds like the Mo I know. I would
yeah.
say so. Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm glad that we're here. It's another Wellness Wednesday. Let me
Hi.
go ahead and send out a couple of invitations. I see that Mama Cunningham is already here. Fantastic. Good to see you here. Oop, I almost lost my phone. Um, and then while I'm doing this, why don't you tell everybody about who is joining us today?
Yes, so today we'll be joined by Rich Bazaar, who is an amazing graphic designer, set designer, creative. He does a lot of different installations throughout Atlanta as well as all over the United States. So I would love for him to talk about it. But we met up um, through actually this company, the Just Vibes. He was another artist, part of that team. Did an Can you hear me?
Oh, you're breaking up just a little bit. You're in and out. Hey,
Oh, that's
stop.
what I heard.
Got three dogs over here today. So
Ooh-wee.
a little wild, but that's all right. I'm assuming that these puppies are going to calm down soon. They sound like full grown dogs. So, hey, stop.
Yeah. All right, and let him know to go ahead and join us.
Yeah, tell them to come on in here and let's get the party started.
Do you have to? Can you invite him? Or oh, I can send it to him. That's how I do it. We got to
I
send out
know.
our link.
We're still working out our glitches. We will figure this dance out.
How
We'll be battling puppies today.
many dogs do you have over there?
Three.
Hmm.
Three dogs today, but what can I say? I'm helping out a neighbor. She got stuck on set, set life,
Yeah,
that
so
whole
like,
dance. So she was like, "Can you please let them out?" She's had them for a year, and it's crazy to have watched them like when she first brought them home to like the size that they are today.
what kind of
They're
dog?
like they're like part lab, part basset hound, so hence why
Oh
they're so
my
mouthy. Uh,
goodness.
yeah, yeah, but nonetheless, they're sweethearts. They just may bark a couple of times, unfortunately.
Okay, FYI.
Well, I see that Darcy is here. Hey, Darcy,
Yes,
thanks for joining
welcome.
us. And then, so tell us more about who this gentleman is. You said he's a graphic designer and he's also a set decorator.
Yeah, no, more than set decorator. He's a set designer. So he
Okay.
creates installations. He makes his own. He's done a lot for Trap Museum. He also is featured in, thank you. He's also featured in I said Trap Museum. He's also done some installations around the city for Backwoods, which is a company that they did some, um, like sponsored installation. So yeah, he's been busy, 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 and he has a great eye. He's just like really creative and has a really dope eye for what he sees in his mind and being able to execute it and bring it to life. It's like
Awesome.
very
Okay.
real, you know.
Well, where is this young
I
man
don't know. I'm
tonight?
trying to get him in. I just sent him into the room.
Darcy wants to see the dogs. Let me see
Oh,
my
oh boy.
chaos. Here you guys go. We've got these mongrels running around. Hey, come here. Calm down. Yep. There's the gang. So the little one is Moki Mo. This is Sunny Bottoms, and then that's Stella, my dog.
Sunny bottom.
We're having a whole gang. There we go. Is this him?
Yes.
Right. Fantastic. So let me figure out how to bring him up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or no.
He
Quest.
has to ask. like to come up? Stop. I will separate you guys. I will be the grumpy aunt. I promise you. Come on.
So while we're waiting to bring him up, I asked him to request. What projects have you been working on lately?
Oh my gosh. I just came off of a great set today, which I was super excited about. I was helping this gentleman from LA who runs a cinema business. That sounds weird. A production house. And they mainly focus on commercial film. And so I was contacted to come help him light his set to do Hungry Man, which is like a feature between Home Depot and ESPN. So that was really interesting because it's like all of the lead guys that I guess like sports curate and talk about like playback things and things of that capacity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the biggest sports ball fan, so I can't tell you all any more details than that.
Okay.
But it was really nice because, you know, of course we had the gallery set. So they had us come over and just make beautiful, beautiful photos of all these gentlemen so that they can build it into like a moving billboard. It's going to be like on the side of a bus. So I was really excited about that, to have his trust and to like allow him to let me work through the lighting schematics and just make something spectacular.
He said he requested.
Okay.
Join. So let's bring him
Fantastic.
up.
There he is.
Cool.
All right. So let's see if he pops up here. All right. I see K Mercedes Music in the house. Hello. Hello.
Hey, Rich.
Yo, what's up?
Hi. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good. How are y'all? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, this is Eley.
How are you?
The lead photographer with Eley Photo Studio. We didn't do our introductions like we do on Clubhouse. And I'm Mo with Method by Mo Productions. We are joined today by a friend as well as an amazing artist, amazing creative, by the name of Rich Bazaar. He's an amazing amazing eye and has amazing drive to create what he sees. So we're going to talk about that today and discuss his journey as well as his creative process and his wellness while he's on this creative process. But before we get into all the little details, I want you to tell the people about who you are, Rich, maybe a backstory on how we met and how you kind of got your start.
No, I'm just this boring old guy from
whatever.
Nah, I'm just a full-blown creative artist, set designer, graphic design, visual art, from Brooklyn, New York. Been down in Atlanta for about 15 years. Been doing my artistry full-time for the past 3. And yeah, I've done work for pretty much everybody from like Trap Museum, Tiana Taylor, so much more, and a bunch of different ranges. Like I said, from set design to murals and canvas paintings, things like that.
Yeah.
And I actually met Mo. From doing a super dope event where I was live painting on the rooftop of the Georgian Hotel, right?
Georgian Hotel. Yeah. So we had a what was it? I don't even remember the name of the event, but it was with
the Expressionisms. Just Vibes, Greg Nice.
Yes, with Greg Nice. And the concept was that we did a live listening party, and during that listening party, Rich was painting, and so he was painting live as he was listening to music and feeling the vibe. And then we auctioned off his artwork, and we had also art that was displayed. It was on the rooftop with a pool and had the view of the city.
It was the vibe.
It was totally a vibe. A lot of people were there, and it was really awesome. You could buy artwork that was featured. I think some of it was your prints that you had, or different work throughout.
Yeah, I had different pieces there.
So that's kind of where I feel like you got this taste of being able to create and bring things to life. And then from what I remember, shortly after that, you did Area 51. You want to tell people about what Area 51 is?
Yeah, what's Area 51?
That was my first solo art show. Kind of like the show that really pivoted my career into the right direction. I was doing some things before with the group. We was called Create the Culture. We was putting on art shows for other artists in the community to show them like the proper way to represent themselves in an art show or in a gallery setting. And then I gradually went on to doing my own show, which was called Area 51, where I did showcase more of my set design as well as the canvas art. So it was like for each piece, I had like a full blown set where you could walk in and kind of feel like you were a part of the piece rather than just looking at it.
Exactly.
And I think that's what like sparked everything for people in Atlanta to be able to see what I was able to create
On his own.
outside of just visual art.
Right, right.
Explain that more about like what like this experience was like to walk into that space.
It was like completely going out of space, but taking a journey through my life. So I structured the walkthrough of the art show to tell a story of my life and who I am and where I came from, as well as give people photo moments that they can take pictures with and they can remember this moment as well. So like, for example, I had like a Statue of Liberty piece, and inside the set, it was like a Brooklyn Bridge. There was the Twin Towers, other things that I actually built to kind of make me feel like it was a little bit in New York. And, then I had stories that just tell what each piece meant to me, where people could read and learn about me a little bit more.
No,
Yeah, and I
very
see
cool.
you still have pieces from that show, right? That you're
I
now
do.
selling, and people are asking for them to be like put in certain scenes or like
Yeah,
that.
they're getting placement. Two of them have sold. Yeah, the rest of them, I think the rest of them that I have left, I might be holding on to for my own personal reasons. I don't know if I'm ready to let them go, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
You got to
that's
keep making space for more stuff to come
and
out, right?
and that too. But like I said, those were like the first pieces I like kind of like poured a little bit of like not even a little bit, a lot more of
all.
myself into.
Yeah,
So yeah, they held a special space, and I wanted the right people, like whoever did purchase them. I wanted it to go to the right home and not just be anywhere just because somebody gave me some money.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So can you tell us more about like what your aesthetic is, or like what do these pieces like really encompass for you?
I guess it all just depends. It just depends on which piece we're talking about. This is one that I'm like working on right now for a
Yeah,
client.
show us. Very cool. Can
Yeah,
you bring
that's
it closer so that we can see what's going on?
could bring it a little closer.
Hey,
That's dope.
dope. Okay, cool. Can you walk us
Yeah,
through it a little bit?
say that again.
Can you walk us through it a little bit?
Yeah, so that's actually is a commission piece that I'm actually doing for a client who hit me. The client is from Harlem, and he's like from the time, I guess, like hip hop was pretty much emerging in New York City, graffiti and hip hop. So he wanted a piece that kind of just represented that time in Harlem, from the graffiti trains, the break dances, the b-boys with the rope chains and the boom boxes. So yeah, I just try to put a little bit of his life in there, in my style though.
Very
Absolutely.
cool. I
Yeah.
love that.
I want to talk about the next project that came after, kind of after Area 51, that you kind of created or had a vision on your own. And it was actually during a time where, during 2020, during the pandemic,
Right.
where you built the mobile installation that you were able to move
Right.
around, and it had the gate in front of it, and it was kind of a
It was like
depiction
a
of
prison
what.
cell.
Say it again.
It was a prison cell with it was a globe. It was a globe behind it with a face mask behind bars.
Can you talk
And
about that a little bit? Because wasn't that something that you had a dream, like a
yeah,
dream, and you brought it to life?
I felt like during COVID. I mean, when you're a full time artist and the world shuts down, it's not like there's a bunch of things for you to get your hands into to be able to create income while you just sitting in the house and everybody else is just sitting in the house and people are worried about their jobs and this, that, and the third. So I just had to create. I had to do something that would mean something, something that would make me feel like I'm not just stagnant and kind of taking away the momentum that I had, within my career. So went to sleep one night just thinking like what I wanted to do. What was it that I wanted to create? And then that next day, like it literally came to me. Like I had a vision of, everything that we were seeing on the news, everything that we were seeing on TV, social media, XYZ, like it all hit me. And I wanted to do a piece that would represent everything that was happening at that time. Cause it was like, I was like crazy. I'm like, yo, we like on the shut, like we're locked down. People are protesting and rioting. There's like all of this, you know, injustice going on within the police systems and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do something that I'm not like an activist. Like, I'm not somebody who's gonna be out in the streets protesting. That's not really me. I do art, you know what I'm saying? So that is my voice. So I was like, how can I express this through something that's in my lane, pretty much. So yeah, I built the installation. We put it out on the streets
Can
and
you
just allow people to just like enjoy it.
can you talk about what the installation was? Talk about the elements that were in that and the process of taking an idea from a vision in your dreams and creating it and making it into reality, and what that process is, because a lot of people might have an idea to do something but don't actually understand what it requires and what it takes to really see it through, and the fact that it's a process to actually trial and error and figure that out and trying to make it actually be exactly what you envisioned.
I mean, that's always the hard part, honestly. Like each project that I do is a lot of them are my first times doing them. Like it's something that I've never did before. So I'm always kind of putting myself out there a little bit, like just to stretch myself a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'll see something in my mind, and to be honest, I'll be super nervous about how I can bring it to life. But I just don't. I never let that stop me or slow me down from just trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be where I am if I did that. So it was just pretty much a process where I seen everything that was going on. Once I kind of got a vision for what I could build up, I just went to Home Depot, started like just looking at things. And this was like once we opened back up slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I started shopping for things, and I literally just started building. And a lot of this stuff I didn't intend to put in there until I like started really going with it. Like once I started building, and then it was like other things was happening while we were in the process of it. And so it was just like, wow. Like I think it was
What were some of the
I think it was like Rashard Brooks. I think he ended up getting killed at the Wendy's, like right while we were working on
the
it.
one
And
they
that
burned
news,
down?
yeah.
No
And
about it.
so stuff like that, it was happening while we were doing it, and I was just like, oh no, I have to touch this topic because this is crazy. So what the actual installation was, it was a big box where I pretty much made it look exactly like a jail cell, white brick walls, the jail cot. Then I had like a huge globe, like a 5-foot globe that was sitting right on top of it. With it was showing that COVID was happening all over the world. It had a face mask over it. It had protest signs because we were having worldwide protests, not just in one certain space. It was actually worldwide at this time. So yeah, I just started putting all of that in there. We had different items, like I think we had like a pair of Jordans in there, like the fire red Jordans that came out where people were getting killed over those.
Yeah.
Because they came out right when we were locked down and everybody was still trying to get them. So yeah, it was just a bunch of little things. I can't remember all of them right now on top, but just a bunch of things that we had in there that was just kind of like bringing people and allowing people, especially people who aren't from our culture, when they got to sit and look at it, it was almost like my idea for it was like I'm trying to think of how to put this, like being locked up. Sometimes a lot of people are getting locked up wrongfully for things that they did, for crimes that they didn't commit. So with COVID and all of us being locked down, we were kind of all equal at this point. And I feel like this was something that none of us did anything to deserve this. But at the end of the day, we're all stripped away from the life that we wanted to live, love to live, XYZ, and we have to be confined in our homes. Pretty much like a prison, almost like a prisoner, but of course, with your own luxuries. But just for people to kind of like see that and take the time to now like reflect on it and actually have to see what it is that we go through on an everyday, you know what I'm saying, on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just time for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that and were able to move throughout the city. I think we were in Atlanta and got to like have it stationed in certain areas, people to experience it and take
Right.
pictures with it and to feel it. Did you get a really emotional response from people?
I got a lot of different type of response. Some of it was emotional. Some of it was just people who just felt like they learned more. I had a lot of people that were from outside of our culture that took the time to like sit and look at it, read some of the articles that was in there. and really walk away learning something more. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. So you really
yeah,
enlightened.
I think that was a
That's
dope
awesome.
part.
Yeah, that was really dope that your art touched people and that it brought education to a different demographic. You know, that's pretty awesome that you're able to do that.
You
Right.
mentioned one thing that I wanted to circle back on, where you said that like when you're stepping into a creative process, sometimes you get like a little nervous, or you get like a little kind of pullback for a second, and then you're like, no, like I can't, like I have to keep creating. I think that happens
Right.
to a lot of creatives, and it's interesting that you're making work with such a heavy message that I could see how sometimes it's like, do I want to put this out here, or how am I going to best communicate this to like represent my community and like say what I need to say? Because when you put that type of stuff out there, there's of course like the trolls of the internet and people that want to hate, and like
Right.
the backlash that comes back. So how can you tell us a little bit more about like your mental state, or like your theory on how you say like, you know what, no, like it's worth me being ready to be prepared for that type of conversation or those types of pushback, for me to continue to create this work? Like, how do you move past any type of block that you have in that process, the beginning stages?
To be honest, it's kind of simple with me. Like I was, nobody never gave me anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and I've had to take tons of no's, within my years of living. Like a lot of people said no. A lot of people probably didn't see my vision. A lot of people didn't always like what I was trying to do. But that's life, and I feel like it applies in everything. But
Mm-hmm.
one thing I realized is even with things that seem out of the norm, eventually once it becomes normalized, everybody accepts it. So it's like stepping out the box. Like you're always gonna get some kind of judgment if you're trying to do something if you're even trying to do something that hasn't been done, um, or it's just something that people don't see often. Like there's always gonna be opinions. There's always gonna be something to say. So I don't worry myself with that. Yeah, I never do. Like I never worry about I get it out. Like this art is my baby. So this is what I give birth to, and this people just gotta take it for whatever
Take
it
it
is.
right.
Yeah.
There you go.
I
And
love
if you don't
that.
like it, it just
Great.
wasn't for you. Like I can care less. Like
Great.
I'm super like comfortable in what I do. So
That's
So you
awesome.
commit
yeah.
to your message and you believe in yourself enough to where you won't
Right.
allow anything on an outside source to stop you from your.
Right. I mean, if I thought of it, it came to my mind. God wanted me to have it,
Yeah.
and I'm putting it out. Like I'm not gonna hold on to it. Like I've seen life from so many different angles, and coming from where I'm from, like in New York, like a lot of people don't even live to get to do half of the things that I'm doing, or get to see half of the things that I've seen in my lifetime. So with that said, it's just like you just got to live your life and without worrying about other people all of the time. Like you have to do what's for you and
100%.
whatever it is that you feel.
I love that. I love that. We're gonna reset the room. I want to thank everyone so much for joining us. Thank you, everyone in the comments. If you have any
What's up?
particular question that you'd like to ask Rich, Eley, or myself, please notify or put it in there. We'll mention it and bring it up for sure. But you're joining us on Wellness Wednesdays on the Creatives Wellness page with Eley Mo and our special guest, Rich Bazaar, who's an amazing set designer, an awesome graphic designer, creative art director, all around amazing
All
artist,
that.
dope, trusted dope. Just so dope. So yeah, so we are just kind of discussing his creative journey, and we're going to start getting into my next question, which is your wellness. Being
Right.
that you are a creative and you give so much of yourself to other people's visions, other people's demands of having you create something for them or for the vision. It takes a lot. It can take a lot out of you and
A lot.
require a lot from
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's really important to let people know, or even just to dive into, how do you refuel yourself? What is the way that Rich refuels himself once you've done this amazing project, or once you've accomplished something? Like, how do you say, okay, I need to reset, I need to put back into me so that I can then create something amazing for the next person or for the next idea? What does
Mhm.
that process for you look like?
Um,
And have you
it can
gotten
be
better at it?
have I gotten better at it? Yeah, that's the real question. Have I gotten better
I
at
like that. That's
it?
real.
Yeah, I've gotten better. I've gotten better at it because for me it used to be go 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 work 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 and nothing, and it was just like I gotta get it. It's not. But now I travel. Traveling is big for me. Like I love going somewhere, getting on the beach, and not even paying attention to my phone or any of that. Just kind of just being to myself. Either that, you know, being with family, being with friends. I love doing that. Going back to New York, just being with my family in New York, like that always puts that drive back in me. Some other things. I mean, I try not to do too much social media. Um, like I'm very like balanced with social media. I only do it for my work, and outside of that, like I try not to do too much personal. You know, I might kind of like show some things through my Snap on my day to day, most once in a while, but I don't engage too much in it because I just try to keep myself in my space and in my zone. And just stay focused on what's really important. Sometimes I know with social media we can get lost in validation and you know feeling like we have to get likes and this and the third from certain things. So I don't know. So certain things like that I just try to stay away from. The people around me, I keep good motivating people around me. So like even when I take days off, it's like I get to hang with them, we have a good time, but they still motivate me. And
Absolutely.
so as soon as I get off this good time, I'm ready to go pour back into the work. So I mean, yeah, those are like some of the things that I do just to kind of like reset myself outside of just working.
Let's talk about like that importance of community and your family. Like, are there specific people that you confide in about certain topics, or who is it that is playing that kind of key role, like your spiritual guide or like your therapy supporter in all of your journey to make sure that you stay on top of like staying connected to what your mission is and like what you want to do on a day to day and what you want to put out in this world?
I mean, I can't say any one specifically. I have a bunch of different people for different things. You know, like a bunch of different people that fuel me in different ways. So it would be hard for me to like pinpoint, you know, one person that I could say, you know, is like on me, like you know, to make me go. But I mean, outside of that, like my mom, my grandmother, my sister, and like that alone is just wanting to eventually, you know, create a enough success that it can bless them as well. I think that you know that is just the one thing that it doesn't. Nobody has to say anything to me. I just know I had it done. You know what I'm saying? So that already like pours everything into me already. And like I said, other than that, I just call different people for different things. Like,
Yeah.
That's fair. You got to
mhm.
have that full support system.
Right, right. It definitely take a whole village for real.
For
Okay.
For sure. Do you have any particular okay, so I know you went to art school back in New
Right,
York. And what was
right.
the name of school that you went to? And
Graphic communication arts.
what did you study?
Graphic arts. Yeah,
More.
graphic arts. And we did a little bit of like, you know, contemporary stuff. Like we would paint every once in a while, but it wasn't heavy on that. Like I had to do that to audition to get into the school.
Right.
But once I was in, it was a lot more of like computer art.
Okay. So like using
Okay.
software.
Say that one more time.
How was your graphic design program? Because I started in graphic design and I hated every second of it, to be perfectly frank. They told me that I was going to go into that program as a stepping stone to be able to get into animation.
Uh,
And somehow I ended up in photography like years later. Like I can't stand graphic design because I just felt like there's a special place for graphic designers to be able to, one, figure out how to create something extremely unique, you know, within the limitations of whatever that medium might be at that moment with like, you know,
Right.
black text on white paper or whatever the case
Yeah.
is. Or, you know, like, did you find yourself in a specialty as far as like web design with the graphic design side, or like where did you go with that?
so I never got into web design. More so just like general graphics. So, you know, like flyers, logos, business
Okay.
cards, things like that. Um, School definitely made me hate it. Definitely made me hate it. Like I ran so far away from art for years. Like I abandoned it as if I didn't know how to draw, design, none of that. You know, and I started doing music. I went to music after you know, high school, and I was just like, yo, this not for me. Like they didn't let me be creative. Everything was structured. You know,
That's
there was so many rules, and
so many rules.
I don't create with rules. Like there's nothing that I do as far as creating or art. that I'm trying to stay within some type of guidelines. Like I would have never put Bizarre on my name. Like that's that's the honest fact. Like I've tried so much to stay as freely as I could within any of my creative hats. So once school kind of pushed me away from it, I started doing music, and I was still kind of doing graphic design because you would still need album covers, things like that. So it still kept my skills sharp. And at this point, I mean, a lot that I've learned is self-taught. So yeah, school. I mean, school taught me the basics. You know, I'm happy for it now. Then I probably could have told you like I hated it. I don't know why I went here. But, I mean, now I'm thankful. I did learn something, and everything else was, you know, just trying to sharpen myself.
Do you have any artists that inspire you?
I do. There's a lot of artists in the city, like people that I roll with. My bro, Born Artist Official Vic. You know, he that's my dog. You met Jiggy, that's my brother. You know, we came up together. We actually did music together. We did music together, and now we're both doing art, which is crazy.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, these guys, Hobo. I'm not sure if you heard of him. Hobo New Ink is his IG. These are some guys that's like in the city that inspired me. And then of course you have like, you know, Fabian, Occasional Superstar. And you know, these guys, Petey Parker is a good friend of mine. He motivates me. I mean,
Painter?
I can go on for days. Huh?
Petey the painter?
Yeah, Petey Parker.
He works over with like the
Like
City
Peter
of
Street
Ink guys.
Station.
Peter Street?
Yeah, Peter Street Station.
I just met him yesterday. I was
he's super
over
cool.
there with Maya Bailey on a feature agreement.
Yeah, that whole
all of everything that they're doing over there. Super dope people. Amazing.
Right. Good. It's a good community of Black artists to know.
Yes.
You know, as you navigate your way through this. So yeah, a lot of these guys here in the city, you know, they keep me sharp. I see them doing things. I'm like, all right, I gotta stay up on my toes. I gotta keep working.
That's awesome. So besides Petey, who's a painter and an illustrator, like who are these other guys? Like tell us about them so that our community can reach out and find them and see like what might inspire them from that.
Born Artist is like my brother. He's literally like my doppelganger. He does everything that I do, he does. So set design, painting. Hobo, I know Hobo does like canvas paints. He does tattoos, super dope. Jiggy, canvas art.
Yeah, Jiggy Korean. He's amazing artist. That's one I was telling you about. He has a very Japanese influenced style to it. And he's featured in at Rocksteady and a few different other restaurants throughout the city where he does really massive, large pieces that are on really different types of medium. They could be like folding covers or like partition. Yeah, so really dope.
Are any of you guys going to be at Articulate? Are you guys aware of like what Articulate is out here?
Nah, I haven't even heard of it.
Really? Well, Articulate, I'm not going to try to give like the best like speech about it because I'm not a part of like the organization or anything, but I many moons ago was an artist over there, but they're just like one of those kind of flux guerrilla style like artists group mashups of like all different types of artists, and I found some amazing Black artwork over there. And they usually do like a 2-day art exhibit or a 2-weekend based on the way whatever they got developing, and it's coming up here. I think in a couple of weeks they're going to be having the next Articulate ATL, so you guys should definitely check that out. Get integrated.
No, I definitely will. And when we get over here, like I'll definitely send me like whatever info you have on it, like IG or whatever.
Okay, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah,
So the next project is really has been really a mega hit for you over the last year and a half, working with the Trap Museum and doing installations inside of there, which I know you have one being released tomorrow as well, right?
Yeah, right. You want it.
I know my shit. Anyway, so can you talk about? I know there was a particular art installation that was really dope, the one with the spaceship, and can you talk kind of about like what inspired that and what that had to do with
Future? Future did.
Okay.
Future did it. But I mean that's like, as far as like trap music, like that's like my trap spirit animal. Like Future, that's my dude. Like I fuck with his music. So I mean, that already gravitated me to want to do it. You know, when they had him, it was like, yo, we got to create something for him. He's like the next guy that they were like bringing into like the Trap Hall of Fame.
Right, right,
Because
right.
you have Jeezy, Gucci, and Ti. So he's like, I guess he kind of birthed a whole new generation of artists. I feel.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm always down for people who are like innovative and kind of push the envelope. And I feel like he kind of took trap music and the sound of it and went like his name, Future. You know what I'm saying? He went to what music would be today. You know what I'm saying? He was doing it then.
Right.
So yeah, to create something for him out that was dope to me. And then it was right up my alley. Like, I mean, I'm like all about like my art show was called Area 51. So I'm like all about the whole aliens, outer space,
Yeah.
astronauts,
Yep.
Pluto. Like that's his whole thing. That's everything that I'm about. Like I put aliens in a bunch of stuff. Like
So true.
so yeah. So it was right up my alley.
Yeah,
And
for
I was excited to do it. I was like, oh, build a spaceship. And Born Artist Official actually, he helped me with that one
sure.
in the Tiana Taylor project. He partnered with me on that too.
Dope. Yeah, I love that. I totally didn't even connect the dots that like, yeah, the whole alien thing is your vibe, the little Martian,
Uh-huh.
right?
Tell us
Green color.
why.
My color is
It,
green. Like yeah.
it's so
What
much sense.
makes you so connected to like aliens and like feeling like like Lil Wayne, like I am not of this planet. Like what's up?
That I used to be a bit like a huge Lil Wayne fan. Like this was I had different stages. I was like I was a Fab fan all through like coming up living in New York. I moved to Atlanta, and I think Lil Wayne was like really just starting to like really take off for like Carter 2 and all of that. And I tapped in and I was heavy on that. And then he had his whole I'm not a human,
Yeah.
like all of that. So yeah, just the whole concept of that, like I love that because that's how I felt naturally. Like I honestly be feeling like I'm not like a lot of people. I'm not a human sometimes. Like the way I work, the way I'm able to like keep going, stay up or whatever. Like and, a lot of people don't move that way. I don't know if that's the New York in me, but but yeah, it's just I haven't met too many people like myself, even personality wise, vibe wise, like. That's why I hang with such a selected group of people
Mm-hmm.
because
And I think that that's important,
I'm
right?
very like cautious of the
You're
type
in
of energies that I bring around.
100%. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
In,
love that, like that thought about like energies and like as we get older, I mean, it's like so funny as we evolve and as we mature, like we go from like, oh, like how many people can sign my like yearbook, you know what I mean? To like
Right.
who's in my inner circle, like who, like what influences are they really leaving on me? And when you do start shopping for friends or whatever you want to say, and like reaching out to other people in the community, it's like, okay, like how are you really going to help mold me, or how can I help you, and like what comes of
Right.
that in this space together. I think
right.
that's super important. I think that that's something that from time to time we have to check ourselves on. Every once in a while I
Mm-hmm.
do like a nice little like regroup and say like, okay, I love you all, but maybe I'm just gonna pull back from
you
you
gotta
guys.
you gotta
Like,
shed layers.
You gotta
as
shed
as you grow, you gotta shed layers, and everybody doesn't come the full journey with you. So yeah, it's
I,
nothing wrong with it. And yeah,
yeah.
as long, especially if you find peace with it within yourself, like I
Yep.
could easily be like, no love lost. I still love you, but
Not everybody can come.
I just move this way right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, nothing wrong
I
with
love
that.
that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I totally feel you on that, 100%. So after the Trap Museum, which was what we just discussed, his installation there, and there's do you want to tell about the one that's being released tomorrow and give a little uh
The one tomorrow is with the Trap Museum. We partnered with Cacti and Patron. So
okay.
Cacti is Travis Scott's new drink. Travis Scott's another creative that I'm like I really rock with. His whole creative rollout of everything that he does.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we're doing an activation where it's gonna be like he has Astro World. So being that
Which is
Cacti
a
is his drink,
Houston, which is a very Houston thing.
very
Come
Houston,
on, off
right,
a
right.
73 day. Okay, sorry, my hometown, but
So we gonna put a spin on his like actual word, and we gonna do a cacti land. And
love
so
that.
yeah, we gonna have complimentary like cacti mixed with Patron, little tequila drink for you to sip on.
and
But
Cool.
where's this
other
gonna
than
be
that,
at?
it's gonna be like a carnival. It's gonna be like a little mini fair. I got one day to build it, so it ain't like I can go super crazy.
So it's like a
Yeah.
genuine pop up that opens up tomorrow.
Yeah, and I got
Yes.
literally from tomorrow to about 4 o'clock to build it. So
Oh
from
my
scratch.
goodness, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Where's the address, or is that
This
like
is
something
at
that's like
Trap. This is
secret too?
at the
right at
Trap.
the Trap Museum.
Okay, cool. All
The
right,
Trap
tell
Music
everybody where the
Museum.
Trap Museum is for those that like don't know.
630 Travis Street.
Boom.
Right
All right.
downtown, off of like Northside Drive by the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and all
Right
that.
down the street from the Mercedes-Benz
And
Stadium.
anybody
Yeah.
can pull up on you.
Anybody
Or
can pull up.
yes.
Okay, so what time do the doors open?
4 o'clock.
All right, cool.
Perfect.
Four
There.
o'clock.
Okay, you heard it here. Okay,
Yeah,
so
right. I
Yeah,
hope
put
to
you out
see
there.
y'all there. Like,
that was the point. So the next amazing artwork that Rich also has in the city is at the Culture Experience, which is an amazing collaboration between a young gentleman from Houston originally by the name of Corey, and he created this installation in Atlanta called the Culture Experience, where it touches on different installations from different eras from like 2000
shoot, really from like the 90s.
90s,
Yeah,
right?
like early 90s.
Early 90s to 2000, early 2000s. So tell them about some of the art installations that you've done there and where they can find.
Hold on 1 second. Let me turn this down.
So, guys, while he stepped out, I just want to remind you that we are coming over to Instagram Live from Clubhouse. You're in our Wellness Wednesday chats, which was inspired through the pandemic of trying to keep all of our creatives connected and trying to make sure that we have a tribe and support. So make sure to tell your friends if you guys have any artists that you would think would like to be highlighted and have a conversation with us. Please shoot us a DM in the Creatives Wellness private box, and we'll definitely check them out. And back to you.
Perfect. So the Culture Experience, what are some of the installations that you recently created that have been pretty dope, and what's next?
Well, the two most popular current ones that we did Puffy and Mace's More Money, More Problems. The light scene with the red suits. We redid that.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah. It looks identical.
And both of these were very personal to me. Like they definitely hold weight if I'm thinking about my life and I think about pivotal points in my life. That video was definitely one of them. And then we did 106 in Park. We redid the original 106 in Park from Free and AJ's era.
Yes, they did a whole set.
Yeah.
View. Yes, that was pretty dope.
We did another one. We did All That mixed with like Good Burger.
Stop.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
What? And then Corey's had a bunch of stuff, that was already there before I came and started the collab. He had the Freaknik. He has like a 90s bedroom. Yeah, it's really cool. Like it's a Vibe magazine installation.
Mm-hmm.
You can really go there and get some super dope photos and relive a lot of the nostalgia, like past that we went through throughout the years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 90s. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So what is next for Rich? What's the next project that you're thinking, other than this art commission piece that you're working on, but what's the next, like, for your brand and for your vision as an artist?
That's a good question. I'm still trying to figure that out. I get so booked with commissions and other like client projects that I haven't really been able to like tap into some of the things that I might want to do to push the envelope.
Well, what would you like to do? Put it out there in the atmosphere now.
Yeah.
And one here will.
I mean, I would love to do another show, and take it up a notch. Like,
I got that.
Yeah, like if I was to do another solo show, like I feel like the experience that I've gained within the past 2 or 3 years that I did the last one, this one would go stupid. Like
Sure.
it would literally go stupid. Like the things I'm able to build, like I said, all of this stuff I'm learning for the first time as I do it. So each one of those projects, 106 in Park, More Money, More Problems, all of that, like Future Exhibit, I learned. It was like, that was my first time, but I take away something from each project. And I feel like it eventually creates like this beast. like whatever's coming on, like whatever's on the way is gonna be super crazy because of everything that I learned from the past few.
Absolutely. So you're taking all of the skills that you've learned, and each time you do something actually helps you build and grow. And I think that's a really important part, something to mention for a creative, and just as a note that you don't really know your capability until you actually do it. And
That's a
once you
fact.
do it, you then understand what you're capable of, what you need to work on, what your strength is, I mean, what your weaknesses are, and then continue to do that. You continue to get better and better and better, better each time. So a lot of times you hear, what they say, like, you're never ready until you start, or like you won't know until you actually do it. There's never the right time. You just have to go for it. And
You
that's
got you.
I think you're a perfect example of that. Like, if you saw, like you said, if I see it, it means I need to do it. I'm going to do it, figure it out and make a way to make it happen.
Facts.
So
But that's,
along the vibes of like putting your message out there and like speaking it into existence, what are things that you consider when you're looking for a space with this evolution of like where you've been, what has worked, what hasn't worked? Tell us a little bit real quick about like some of the ups and downs of like being a gallery artist and like, or being someone that's showing their work in a space, and what it is that you want for this next one. Maybe someone in here can help you.
That's a good question. I mean, I think the biggest thing is like what we kind of talked about earlier is just being ready for whatever people's reaction to your work is going to be. Like, I mean, is vulnerability at its highest form. Like,
yeah.
you're putting yourself at risk of criticism. So I mean, that's probably one of the hardest things. But I don't know. It's really a hard question. I haven't really found anything that's necessarily hard besides the fact of like preparing for it.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm getting ready for a show, like it's almost like I have to shut off from the world a little bit.
That's important.
Yeah, the time that it takes to create not just a canvas, but it's like I'm working on a painting that could easily take anywhere from 2 weeks to a month, and then to also have to figure out a build up, like something that I can structurally build to make a set around it. The money that you have to invest into it, like I mean, I came out of my own pocket to invest in that, and like this was like a little bit after I had the last job that I ever worked. This was like right after I lost that job, and I invested, like over like $3,000 or something like that into putting this show together out of my own pocket from money that I barely had. It was just something that I was just like, yo, I know, and I knew I wasn't gonna make the money back that night.
Right.
I was like, my payment is coming like a year or two from that. Like,
Yeah.
it's
That's
not what I'm getting right now in this moment.
That's so real, Rich, though, to say, to believe in yourself. To, like you said, you had a job that you just got fired from, and you took a
Mm-hmm.
chance on yourself. You invested all the money into yourself to do something that you had a vision for, knowing that it may not pay off that day. Like, no,
Right,
there's a chance that you aren't going to get a check. Someone's going to buy a piece of work and say, I want this for $3,500. And that would have been amazing. But
right. It don't
doesn't
always work out that way.
always work out that way. And knowing that, looking at it now, I from what I have seen is that one of the things, artworks we didn't even talk about, was the pieces you've done for Tiana Taylor, and how you've done campaigns for artwork for her campaigns. You've done artwork within her home, and that you've had pieces that have been shown in Times Square on billboards. You know what I mean?
Right.
And which is
Right up the street from the school that I went to, by the way.
right, like a big space at the school. Like,
It's like,
look,
hi, y'all told me I couldn't do all of this. You said this is too crazy. And now look.
exactly, like that. There, it becomes like, okay, if you continuously putting in that work and continuously believing in yourself, and that really is where the payoff is. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
where the payoff comes from. So for any artist who feels like, okay, I'm not gonna get this back, or I'm not gonna do it because I'm not gonna get paid immediately, like, it's not about that. It's about you investing in yourself, and just
Mm-hmm.
watch how all that you invested financially is going to come back to you way more by in so many other forms, so many other ways, so many other opportunities.
Right.
Right? I mean, from what I've
Right.
seen.
Now, I mean, before you make that investment in yourself, you got to make sure you put in the work into yourself, because you got to put the
Mm-hmm.
work in before you invest. Because if you invest into something that you didn't polish, then it does nothing. It does nothing for you. Like, so working on polishing it up, and then once you feel like you have a product or a skill that is polished, then you invest and you put it out there. Let
Yeah.
people take it in.
I want to ask you one last question based off of what you were just sharing with us about, the kind of steps and things that you need to do in preparation of the next show, or creating your work. So you said, it might take me 2 weeks, it might take me 2 months of like, the time and preparation. You know, like you have to kind of close yourself off to the world to be able to have that mental clarity, to be able to be in that creative headspace. So
Right.
what allows your, just tell the people a little bit about like the process of that. What makes you confident in saying I can literally step off? Or is that like I'm going to silence my phone for 2 months? Is that like I'm not going to work at the coffee shop this week? Like what does that mean, and how do you prepare for a space to exist like that in your life so that you can create and get ready for the next show?
Honestly, at this level of my career, I'm still trying to figure that out. I mean, I'm the point that I'm at now is like it is a lot more of a demand for people who reach out to me and they want things built. Like I mean, I have about 5 different clients that want big projects right now. I've had this piece last January. He paid me to do this piece, and I'm literally just now getting to be able to finish it. But I haven't been able to just sit down in the house because set design is like a whole different animal. It keeps me outside. I'm building. I'm like, because I literally do the full thing myself. I'm building it. I'm designing it, decorating it, shopping for the stuff.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm like trying to figure that out. I haven't figured it out yet, at all. Like the balance of being able to shut myself off to do things that I want to do rather than what I'm being paid to do. Got to figure that out because yeah, it's definitely overdue. Like it's something that I want to put out to the world. Like I feel like people only book me based off of what they see I'm capable of. So it was like when I did Area 51, it was like, oh, he can do this. So I spent the past 2 years being booked solely off of that. So I feel like soon as I do another show, like I already know, I'm about to push the envelope to a whole nother level, like to a point where artists just don't do shows like what I'm trying to do. Like that's the point that I'm trying to be at with it. So once I do that, I already know it opens up a whole new floodgate for a whole new list of clients and people who now they're like, oh, now we want you to do this. And so I already know it's gonna get more intense. But like I
So
said,
as
I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah, so as it becomes more intense, you have to learn how to create boundaries for
Mhm.
yourself, because if you already, you're at a level now, right? You're at a level at this moment. Once you take it to another level, everything goes to another level. And so you have to then
Right.
be aware of that and knowing that, like, okay, I need boundaries for what is the best way what is the best environment, and what are the things that I need to create the most effective, healthy, right, way
Mhm.
for you, and to make sure that you give the clients what they are asking for, what they need. You have, I'm just putting
Yeah.
out there, for as a creative in every space, when you start to elevate, you have to create boundaries. People will work you dry.
And that I mean, and that comes with time. Being able to place those boundaries, I feel like it comes with time.
It
Because
does.
honestly, at first, I mean, you have no right to have a boundary. At
Right.
first,
You can
at
take
first it's like,
everything.
yo, you got to get out here. Like you got to get your work out here. You have to
Yes.
put that groundwork in. You got to grind,
Yeah,
and you got to go. You have to work ridiculously to get the spot. Everybody wants a spot. There's
absolutely.
so many
Valid.
artists. There's so many people who do everything. In order for you to like get past that, you have to outwork everybody first. So once you outwork them and then you start to build that clientele for yourself and all of that, then I feel like and you have you have a demand where people actually want your work and they're like, nah, like I know somebody and I want this person to do it. Then
Right.
I feel like you can start to kind of like, set some boundaries, have your demands for things that you need to get the work done. But yeah, like I said,
Well,
at first you just got to put that groundwork in.
100%, I agree. But just letting you know, I'm giving your flowers now. You were at that space.
Yeah.
You have
Sounds like
done. You have done. You have put your time right at this, and moving forward to create your boundaries. Okay, don't ever let nobody
Mhm.
tell you that you can't have boundaries for yourself and
Oh
for
nah,
your.
yeah, I know
Okay.
that now. It's
Okay. Yeah.
contracts and
So,
everything involved now. So
And then the
yes.
last, yeah, and I want to leave
Amen.
you with this one thing too. Like boundaries are super important, but what I have found in my own career is that like having systems and like having those systems in place so that as these things continue to like blow up, then you're not like chasing your own tail. You know what I mean? So it's like making sure that like that budget is together, making sure that you know who's going to be able to help you out as far as like the day of install, like have your crew, you know what I mean? Like having those types of things and like having your invoicing and all that stuff in place is like so
So key.
important so that you're ready to rip as everything rolls in. So it's just like, boom, go ahead. No
Right.
problem. It's not going to take me forever to build this. I'm out the door making the next assignment.
Right.
The back end is
Right.
handled.
And that's for
That's
everybody.
very true.
That's not just you two. That's for every creative, and just saying as you
Mhm.
elevate and move to a space, systems are extremely important and boundaries are important. Those are two things that I feel like will help you become, even be able to take on more, right? And do more because you have those things in place. And so that
Facts.
actually it works in a space where like, okay, I created a boundary so that I can, you know what I'm saying, be as
Mhm.
functional as possible. So it's great. I think you're doing amazing. And I'm so glad that you have taken the time to even talk with us today, Rich. You're
Of course.
amazing.
Of
Like I said,
course.
you're,
I appreciate y'all for even caring to talk to me, you know.
of course.
Hey, this is
You
fantastic. Like,
downplay yourself so much. It's freaking
Nah,
humble.
I'm playing. I'm playing.
I know.
Humble.
He's like humble brag. No.
Yes, yes.
No, you're amazing. And I love your work, and I think it's awesome to see, you push and go as hard as you do, because we need more people like you. We need more people to see people who, okay, have a vision and just go for it. You're not waiting for nobody to give you the green light. Like, you're taking the initiative
Right.
yourself, and you're doing it, and you're making a difference, and you're creating a legacy for yourself, as well as creating, like, paving a way for what set design is and how it's changing and evolving, and what a
Oh, it's
graphic
evolving. It's
designer,
evolving. Everybody
it's
popping out with it now.
listen, yeah, how it's evolved, and how, I mean, seeing it start with what I know, seeing you start that, back from Area 51. So
Right.
I send you your flowers. You're dope.
Thank you.
Continue to do dope shit. Continue to be
Yes.
an amazing creative.
Thank you
And
both,
before
man. I
you
appreciate
go,
it.
like before we sign off here, like, can you please tell everybody where they can find you, what your website is, like, re-announce like what's going on for tomorrow's opening. I just want you to be able to get the good word out.
Get all the
Right,
support.
right. Well, you could find me, of course, on here at Yo Rich Bazaar. I mean, that's as far as like my social media stuff go. The website the website needs to be updated, but it's up. I think the link is in my bio. Yeah, tomorrow at the Trap Museum I think the actual event is from 6 to 10, but we're open. We're open from 4 to 10, so you can pull up. We have the Cacti event. You can come through, get some margaritas and all that in your system. Sponsored by Cacti Patron.
It
Yeah,
sounds
Mm-hmm.
great.
so, huh?
It sounds great. Like, you
Yeah, nah,
probably see me in
it's
there.
gonna.
Oh,
It's. I mean, Thursdays at the Trap Museum is always a good time. I mean, I work with an amazing crew of people, so we always we get lit. Thursdays we get
Fantastic.
lit. We unwind. We have a good time. And, I hang around. Like I said, I'm just emerged around a lot of people there who are also doing amazing things. So yeah, good energy of people. Come out, have a good time.
Boom. Very good. Well, thank you
Mhm.
guys so much. We're right here at 9 o'clock. Mo and I do our best to keep these nice and concise because we want to value everybody's time. But again, this is Wellness Wednesday with Eley and Mo. Thank you so much for joining us this
Thank
evening.
God.
Please be sure to check out our very amazing guest that's been here tonight. I hope to see you guys tomorrow at the Trap Museum. And make sure that you sync up with us. Follow Creatives Wellness, follow Method by Mo, follow Eley Photo, and drop yours one more time for us.
Oh, at your Rich Bazaar.
Boom. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to play some music and enjoy the rest of your week. Keep hustling, keep grinding, and find space for your wellness.
Peace, y'all.